Hey, this is Cam. So, in the last video, I introduced some ideas on how to deal with the small waves of anxiety and stress caused by the prospect of getting those exam results. Now, we're going to take it to another level. Because sometimes, instead of a small wave of anxiety coming and then going, you actually get caught up in it. The wave gets bigger and bigger, it consumes you, and your mind gets caught in a wake of negative thoughts spurred on by that sense of overwhelming anxiety. So what's really happening, and how do we deal with it? First, I'm going to try to explain why your mind is actually taking you towards that state of anxiety. Because if you can understand why it does this, you'll find it so much easier to work with your mind to get out of that state. In this case, your mind is taking you on a road towards what you fear most, your worst case scenario. It is taking you towards the worst possible outcome you can anticipate on results day and the chain of emotional and practical consequences that will follow from it. Why is your mind trying to make you feel this? Does it hate you that much? Look, the reason is because when it comes to the future, the mind fears what it doesn't know, because it can't prepare for what it feels it doesn't know. If you imagine the future as darkness, in that you're blind to what's actually going to happen, the mind is like a torch, constantly trying to illuminate it so you don't trip over as you walk on the path into that darkness, into that future. And in this case, it is recognizing a major trip hazard that can have consequences for your future mental and emotional state. The worst case scenario for results day. And it tries to explore it to prepare itself for what might come on that day. Except, it never gets there. Why? Because along the way, you start to resist it. You start to try pulling your mind back from its path towards that worst case, because the closer it gets, the more unpleasant you feel. Until now, you probably didn't even know why your mind was going there, and pulling back is just a natural reaction to that discomfort it's causing you. But oftentimes, all that actually ends up happening is you pull the mind back a bit before it grabs control again and goes back towards that worst case. And then the cycle repeats itself, leaving you pretty much frozen in that unpleasant limbo until eventually something external, like mum shouting that dinner's ready, snaps you out of it. But the stress caused by that mental journey remains, and it's easy for it to be triggered again. So now you know what's going on. Let's handle it. Let's own it. Here is what I want you to do. That worst case scenario that your mind keeps running towards but never gets to, I want you to actually create it. You heard me right. I want you to get your pen, paper, iPhone, laptop, whatever out and write down your worst case scenario. And write it down with 100% honesty and realness. There's no judgment here. Keep it 100% real. Why? Because if you already know your true worst case and all the potential emotional and practical challenges that follow from it, there's nothing for your mind to run to. You've given it what it's looking for right there, saving you all that time, energy, and tons of stress. Instead of your mind running towards a worst case scenario and you fighting it as you try to pull it back, you're letting your mind start straight from where it wants to be, at the worst case scenario with all the answers that it didn't have before. So it has no reason to create that anxiety. So how do you create your worst case scenario? Start at results day itself. You're there, you open the letter or website, and you haven't achieved the results you desired or needed. Now, you break it down by two paths: the short-term emotional response and the long-term practical response. First, short-term emotional. This can be anything from the disappointment or failure that you might feel, the shame, embarrassment, or lowered confidence at not achieving the result, the envy at seeing all your friends happy with theirs. Anything to do with your emotions. The key here, no judgment, 100% realness. This isn't about faking happiness or passing it off as, I didn't give a damn anyway. Those do nothing for you. Don't be afraid of your real emotions. Tell your pride to shut the hell up and be genuine with yourself about how your worst case scenario might actually make you feel. Second point, the long-term practical. This is where you start to measure up options. Do you retake exams? Take a gap year? Change your course? Take your second choice option? Go into the clearing process in the UK? Write down all of the options. And even at this stage, before you've got results, start thinking of what options could actually be viable. And now we take the final step. You've identified short-term emotional responses and long-term practical options. Now you can actually try to account for them and resolve some of them in advance. In my case, for short-term emotional response, I essentially prepared the statements I was going to tell my parents in the event I didn't get in, about how motivated I was to succeed next time. I even prepared my consolation speech that I'd give to my friends, congratulating them on their results. And when they asked, graciously expressing that mine didn't go the way I'd hoped, but that I'd handle it next time. Seriously, I felt like the gracious loser at the Oscars who the camera pans to when they announce the winners. And again, in my case with the long-term practical options, I made a vow that I'd give myself 24 hours before I even began considering making any decisions. Listen, even if you ignore the rest of this video, trust me on this. Never make life decisions when you're tired or emotionally charged. Rest up, let the emotions subside, let rationality sink in, and then approach the decision with a refreshed mind. Listen, I was lucky. All that preparation, and it turned out that I didn't need any of it. But I'll tell you what, the 30 minutes I spent fixing up my worst case scenario was completely worth the 2 anxiety-free relaxed weeks that I had before results day. The summertime should be for rest and relaxation. Don't let your mind deprive you of that. And I promise you, if you've done this correctly and created a bulletproof worst case scenario, your mind will be so damn grateful to you that it'll stop sending you those waves of anxiety. And from then on, all that's left is to start visualizing more positive thoughts whenever results day comes into mind. And believe me, that's so much easier when you've got your worst case figured out. You know, your thought process can be along the lines of, yeah, I know the worst that can happen. I see it. I feel it. And I'm prepared for it. I'm ready. I own it. And you know what? I won't even need it. If for some reason I do, I know how to respond to it. But I won't. I've prepared for the worst. And now I'm free to hope and believe that I'm going to achieve the best. Alright, we're done. I really hope that this video was useful for you. Feel free to ask any questions or let me know how it goes for you. And feel free to contact me by commenting here, hitting my website, or going onto my Facebook page or Twitter. In the meantime, I hope you own your anxiety and enjoy your summer. Good luck for results day. Keep growing, keep striving, and keep shining.